Digital Radio presents LA Style Magazine. Tis the time. Marquita Monet.
What's good?
And Christine. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Hello.
man, it's all good.
Happy
Another
Monday.
week. You know
Yes, Man Crush Monday.
how you doing? Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
She's talking about me, Tiz.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was assuming.
These men are
Relax,
confident.
But no, it's not
so much
about
love in the
me.
studio.
It's not about me and the crush that Marquita have on me.
I
So
know.
let's go into it, Tiz.
Hey, man.
We have a
man.
special guest today.
We do. We have a very special guest today,
Gorgeous.
man. This is a beautiful young lady who is out there being a trendsetter. She's changing who we are, what we are, and where we're going.
Most def.
And I'm definitely looking forward to that. She's coming out from the Bay. Coming from what you got? What you went to JFK?
Woo!
John F. Kennedy. You got your bachelor's degree? Law degree.
That's
Sorry.
right.
Whoa.
You
Get
got
it
your
right.
bachelor's degree from Jacksonville. We have the amazing Kimberly.
Kimberly. Woo! Such an honor.
Oh, you got to say the full name, Kimberly Ellis.
Do I have to
Yes.
say the whole name? I thought she was just gonna bless us with it. It's Kimberly. She over here singing.
Tiz wants it to be known that they know each other. That's why I like first name basis.
Right. It's like, yeah, this is like,
Nah. No, this is most definitely Kimberly Ellis. How you doing?
Doing very well, thank
Doing
you.
very well.
Yes.
Well, you looking beautiful and got your smile going, so I know good things are going. You on the campaign trail? How's it
Yes.
going? How's that for you right now?
It's going really well. I think this is my 17th county in about 20 days.
wow.
So about 2 weeks ago, I started up in Humboldt County, Eureka.
She's up
You
there
can
with
see
them.
Oregon from their porch.
Goodness.
Came down through Sacramento, Bay Area, Central Valley, Orange County, San Diego, the Inland Empire. So pretty much a different county almost every day for the past couple of weeks.
So you're seeing everything right now. That's really
Whoa.
cool. She's seeing
Hashtag boss.
For
How
sure.
about that?
Have you seen California like that ever
Before this?
I
before
have.
this campaign?
So I actually ran for this position to be the chair of the California Democratic Party 2 years ago.
Okay.
And during that campaign, I had the incredible honor of visiting 50 out of 58 of the counties in California. So I have literally seen almost every part of this beautiful state.
How do you do that, Kimberly? Like, do you have someone to drive with you? Do you have a driver on occasion? Do you have to fly? Like, do you do it somewhat like a tour?
So it's a little bit of everything.
Okay, yeah, depending on where it is and time frames.
Exactly.
Woo.
Exactly.
Yep.
I spent a lot of time on Southwest. Thank God for $59.
Yes, and bomb frequent flyer miles
Yes,
too.
yes.
Did y'all catch that? She said, "Thank God for the 59." So that means she's fronting that bill. So understand what's going on here.
Yes, yes.
But let's take it back. Give us the introduction of who Kimberly is. Where just give us the essence of you from the beginning.
Yeah, that bio.
Yes.
Take it from the top.
Take it from the top.
Tippy.
Okay. Well, I grew up as a military kid.
Ooh,
Which-
shut
One
up.
next to you. There's a
My
boss
father-
military chick right
Is that
next
right?
to you.
Yeah.
What?
That's
19 years in.
Yes,
Army
indeed.
Reserves.
Thank you.
It's been an
Yes.
amazing pleasure.
You see that connection?
Yes, so beautiful.
Yeah. So my father was also in the Army, a career military officer, almost 30 years, which meant that every 3 years I had a new home. I spent elementary school actually at the Presidio in San Francisco.
Mhm.
Middle school was spent in the Midwest and in the South.
Yeah.
High school, I had the incredible honor of living in Puerto Rico,
Puerto Rico.
Isla del Encanto.
Oh, I love that.
And,
Somebody accent was on.
Yes, okay.
Did you feel that?
I have to say there's something especially dynamic about individuals who have to or are, caused to move because of their family, and especially because of the military. Because my experience that you have, like, resilience was built into you from that stage, right? So
Yeah.
by virtue of who you are, that I love that about you.
Yeah.
So-
No, and it has served me well. I think it was sort of a double dose of resilience, if you will. I think as women of color, we have it naturally hard coded on our DNA to be resilient. We are, I believe, the very definition of resilience.
Absolutely.
So high school in Puerto Rico,
Mhm.
undergrad at Jacksonville University in Florida,
HBCU.
and moved out to California about 22 years ago, and have been out here ever since. I've worked in private industry for the state of California and in the nonprofit sector. I spent almost a decade working for an organization called Emerge America in Emerge, California, which recruits and trains Democratic women to run for elected office. Here in California, there are more than 600 Emerge California alum. Half of them currently sit in elected office. 56% of them are women of color, and 72% of them win on their first run.
Wow.
Okay.
So,
So that means you're winning.
72%.
72%,
Wow.
way above the national average.
That's
So,
huge.
program knows how to train them, how to run them, and how to get them elected. And
Yeah.
some Emerge California alums whose names you might recognize. The mayor of San Francisco, London Breed, is an Emerge California alum. The mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf, is an Emerge alum. Malia Cohen, who is the first African-American woman to ever serve on the statewide Board of Equalization, is an Emerge California alum.
wow.
And California's first female lieutenant governor, Eleni Kounalakis, is also an Emerge California alum.
My
I'm feeling
God,
a whole
Kimberly.
lot of women power going on.
Yes, let me
Yeah.
tell you something, Kimberly,
About time.
Elise. Women like you are my heroes
Yeah,
because this is my main passion. It's politics as it relates to justice. God, I'm loving you right now.
this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is
So, on that note, I would just like to ask you this question. It's almost like an umbrella of a lot of questions that we probably have falling under it. But what is your vision, or what visions do you have for our nation as a whole? Like, what speaks to you? What is your heart? What would you like to see, or what is burning in you really strong right now? And even if that's more than one thing.
Yeah, I think for me, it really is a belief that we should have fairness and justice and equity for all people. That everything we do, in this case, because I am running to be chair of this party, everything we do in the name of the Democratic Party should be really with two things in mind, and that is people and our planet.
Whoa, that's it. That is perfection. So the heart of everything that you want to see for our nation is people, and all people being considered, and letting all people know they #matter.
Absolutely. That there is justice and fairness and equity for Black people, for brown people, for people living with disabilities, for our
Absolutely.
LGBTQ community, for our Indigenous Native Americans, for our Latinx community, for our seniors, for our young people,
Yeah.
for women, for
Yeah.
those who have historically been marginalized and underrepresented at decision-making tables where people's very livelihoods are being decided.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And would you say that you also have a concern for people that are treated unjustly due to the fact they are on a different economic bracket, like financial bracket, like a lot of students that I work with, you may have a whole group of students in a classroom who are in single parent homes, whose parents are working 2 to 3 jobs. And the teacher that's standing before them is grading them and judging them equally to the student that has a 2-parent home and are living an upper middle class life. Who does not have who has both parents in the home that speak English and can support them like with homework assignments. So just so many different things that I see that are unjust, that I feel like your work matters, and your being put in that office is really going to make a difference. So with that being said, what do you feel the Democratic Party, you're running on the Democratic ticket, what do you feel as a Democrat would be significantly different in your pushing for the things that you just mentioned versus if you were on the Republican ticket?
Yeah.
How would that look different?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I'm being perfectly honest,
Yes.
which I always try to be,
That's what we gotta do. We gotta do.
I would say that is a question that is being asked within the Democratic Party.
Whoa.
Wow. I ran to be chair of the party 2 years ago in what was a historic campaign. It was the first African-American male or female to ever run for chair of the party here in the state of California. Wow. Our campaign tagline, if you will, was redefining what it meant to be a Democrat. Because there are many of us who believe that the Democratic Party as an institution and too many of our Democratic elected officials at the highest levels had forgotten what it meant to be a Democrat.
Yes.
Had forgotten that our party was the party of the poor, that our party was the party of the working class, the party that believed in reaching back and pulling people up. And so it really was a calling of the question, if you will.
Wow.
Who are we? What do we stand for? And what are we about? Because the research was showing that there is a growing trend of the new American majority, which is made up of 3 demographics. The new American majority is single women, people of color, and millennials. Those 3 demographics have decided the last 2 presidential elections by either showing up to vote or not.
Absolutely.
And the research was showing that those 3 demographics were trending no party preference or decline to state. And in fact, last year, for the very first time ever in California's history, more people registered as no party preference decline to state than they did as Democrat. So what that is saying is that more people are choosing to not associate with the Democratic Party because they are not seeing enough of a difference. We are not doing a good enough job distinguishing ourselves from the other side.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
My quick question was, so I've volunteered a little bit in the grassroots at the community level. What would you say to voters who fall under that umbrella, who feel like their voice isn't being heard and would most likely than not vote?
Yeah.
What would you say to that specific demographic that makes such a big difference, but they're not having their voice heard or feel like it is?
Yeah, I would say find out more about this election for chair of the California Democratic Party. There is a reason why the powers that be moved heaven and earth to block me 2 years ago. Out of nearly 3,600 votes, we lost by 57 votes.
Right.
And that was because the Democratic Party has its version of an electoral college. So we won 70% of the elected delegation, if you will.
Yes.
But then we had elected officials come in and flood it, if you will, with what amounts to superdelegates. And we ended up losing by 57 votes. But this is something that, quite honestly, I've been talking about in the spirit of, if this party is to not just survive 2020 and have a chance at getting rid of he who shall not be named, who currently occupies the White House, but to be able to build this party in a way that has relevance in people's everyday lives, this party can, should, and must do more to mean more in people's everyday lives. And so that means having an ethos that says that we are willing to roll up our sleeves and meet people where they're at, go into the communities, talk to young people, go into the communities, communicate in a language other than English, considering this is the most diverse state in the nation. We are a people of color majority state here in California. But it means we have to be willing to do the work. And unfortunately, because of our populace, because the majority of people who live in California are Democrats or progressive leaning, the party, quite frankly, hasn't had to work as hard.
So I want to go back a little bit. So for those who are watching, those who are listening, the chair position for the Democratic Party that you are currently in the race for and about to win. That's my prediction. Just put that out.
Yes, you are.
So,
Yes, you are.
Put it out there.
Yes, and I'm going to be right there by you.
Can you just explain what that does with what does that office entail? What does it do? And then also how you are going to affect the party as you move forward. What does the chairperson do? So people understand what we're talking about here. Because for me, when I found out, I was like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So okay, so let them know what that is.
Yes.
Yeah, so a couple things. I will share what the chair of the party does, and I will share what I believe the chair of the party should do.
Okay.
Loving it.
So I'll first start off by saying the chair of the California Democratic Party is what I would describe as an inside baseball position. Most people in California, there are 40 million people in California, 9 million registered Democrats. 99.99999% of them have never heard of this before. I think that is purposely so.
Absolutely.
There are only 3,600 people who can vote for this position. They are delegates to the party. It's a very complicated, arcane sort of way in which you become a delegate, even find out about it. Historically, the chair of the California Democratic Party has been an old, white, retired legislator.
Right.
Before our previous chair, who resigned back in November because of sexual abuse and sexual harassment scandals. Our previous chair was 84 years old and had similar demographics for previous chairs. So for all intents and purposes, the crown, if you will, had been passed from one old white man's head to another.
Gotcha.
And so per the bylaws, the chair of the California Democratic Party, it does three things. Number one, they fundraise. They raise money to support the operational and programmatic budget of the party.
Yeah.
The entire party, or just in California?
The operations of the party itself.
Okay, that's big.
Number two, they are the official spokesperson for all California Democrats. So for all intents and purposes, the chair of this party is the face, the soul, the spirit of Democrats in the state of California. So the chair has to be able to go on television and articulate our values, not just in a concise way, but in a convincing way.
Yes.
And then finally, the chair of the party is what I describe as the cheerleader in chief. You got to be able to pick up your pom-poms, travel up and down this state and rally the troops around our issues, our values, our candidates. But one of the things I've been talking about as it relates to sort of this time that we're in right now, when we look at having to do everything we can to hold on to those electoral gains that we just picked up. I was in Orange County right before I got here. They flipped all 7 of those congressional districts from Republican to Democrat. So we have to hold on to those. That's how partly how we took back the House.
In Orange County,
In
they
Orange
flipped
County,
it?
they flipped
That-
7
that's
congressional
hope.
seats.
Yeah.
So we have to do that. We have to get ready to put a Democrat back in the White House. And so as we look to that, I think the chair of this party at this time really has an additional responsibility. And that is to be the inspirer in chief.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to inspire people to action, right? So you have to be able to inspire people to do the work of this party, right?
Yeah.
To show up on a Saturday morning, phone bank, canvas,
Yes.
postcarding, you know.
Yes.
You have to inspire people to write checks,
Yes.
to invest in this party.
Yes.
And you have to inspire people to not just register to vote, but to show up to vote. So we've been talking a lot about sort of California, big blue state. There's no question in terms of how we will be voting.
Yeah.
But as the 5th largest economy in the world, I like to say that here in California, we don't follow trends, we set the trends. And we have an obligation, because we pack a lot of heft and a lot of might, to do our part to help take back states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida in order to win the Electoral College to put a Democrat back in the White House.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say is this, and why it's important for the chair of this party be able to pick up, because it's not just about California. We have to think beyond our borders.
Yeah.
Okay.
The chair of this party has to be able to go to places like Flint, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan,
Absolutely.
Madison, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Ohio, Philly, in Pennsylvania, Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, Florida, and inspire the new American majority, single women, people of color, millennials, to come out and vote. Because if they don't, we'll get a repeat of 2016.
Yeah.
We lost the presidential election by 77,000 votes. 77,000
That's
votes.
like a city.
They
Just
were
one
spread
city in the whole
over
United States.
4 states:
Yeah.
Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania. It can't just be that we are against Trump. We have to be for something.
Exactly. And I also believe that it's necessary to have someone that is running for the Democratic Party that is trustworthy. And I think that that is what states like Ohio or Michigan and stuff they were looking at. They were looking at trustworthiness, because one of the things that I deal with, and I know you do too, in addition to inspiration, is facts. So when I'm dealing like with journalism students, I'm like, okay, so why don't you like Trump? I tell them to write down the facts about as it relates to policies, as it relates to anything that he stands for, anything that he's done that has been proven, to write down the facts. So when we look at, like it was Hillary Clinton versus, Trump. So when you look at something like that, how then can we really be convincing and carry out this vision that you have? Is coming with facts and having somebody that runs that we can't tie back to something that is factual. You know what I'm saying? Or a decision or something that one of the Democratic leaders or the person that's running for office that is not necessarily supportive of people of color. You know what I'm saying? Specifically African Americans. So where your belief may be liberal, you may not support, you know what I'm saying, anything that's liberal that's not like you. So I think that for me, what I'm looking for, and people, and just kind of like studying the demographics, dealing with the students, is what I'm looking for, Kimberly, is trustworthiness. Somebody that is in that Democratic Party that can come to me with facts. And then, rallying up people, like you have those single mothers that come home and they're tired. And so we're inspiring them and letting them know what will come about with them voting for the Democratic Party, but they're tired. So, hey, let's rally up some buses from some private schools. Let's get some drivers to say, we'll pick you up and we'll drive you to the vote. And I think that's what happened with Barack Obama. Am I correct? With a lot of different things. They were actually going to pick up people, transporting them to get to the polls.
But then within what you're doing, do you, how much weight will you hold at this position to actually be able to create this change?
Yeah.
How much weight will you hold? What are you going to do?
A lot. The other aspect of this is, of course, money.
Yeah.
And money. Money, unfortunately, is still the mother's milk of politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In too many instances, you cannot win elected office
It drives the win.
without money.
Mm-hmm.
So the chair of the California Democratic Party presides over the party. In any given campaign cycle, upwards of $30 million flows through the California Democratic Party. One of the things that I talked a lot about during the last campaign was changing how we spend that money.
That's good, Kimberly.
And instead of spending so much money on mail, which ends up in our recycling bin, or on TV ads through stations that are owned by Rupert Murdoch and the likes, instead investing that money in people in the form of community organizers, whose job it would be not just a couple months before an election, you helicopter someone in, but whose job it would be 365 days out of the year to organize their communities around issues up and down the state of California.
Rally the troops.
Yes, you are on your
I'm not at that.
And unfortunately, the powers that be didn't take too kindly to that, since so much of this business and industry is tied up in contracts and people who have self-serving self-interest in that money continuing to go to the same group of people.
Yeah. It's kind of like media. I mean, you get the money, you give it back to media, Fox, all these other institutions of television. It's like circling back, going round and round. But I mean, going about it like that, that's a different thing. That's giving the money to the streets, which is where the power is. That's where the real influencers are.
And I think Tiz said something really interesting. The question was, how much weight does that position hold? And what I hear loud and clear is that relevance of where we are and where we need to be, and understanding that gap is what I hear really fluently and articulate from you. And that's what I felt has been missing. And so that relevance from, every position, being able to speak that and advocate that, and for us to be able to see a leader who represents us.
Yes.
So that's just really dynamic.
And that's funny, because when I look at it and I think about what you're doing and how you're out on the campaign trail and what's going on, I wonder how receptive these delegates are to you. How receptive are they to your skin color, your hair, your different voice, the fact that you're a woman? How receptive are they to this and the understanding of change and what needs to happen? What do you feel when you're out there? How is that coming across?
Yeah. I think the party is a microcosm of our country. There are beautiful parts, welcoming parts. There are not so beautiful, not so welcoming parts. I shared during the last campaign that there were 2 times in my life when I remember very distinctly being faced with in-your-face racism. The first was when I went to college in Florida. As a military kid, we were always in different integrated environments and cultures, and I never experienced racism until I got to college in Florida. For the very first time in your face, The second time was on the campaign trail for California Democratic Party chair, down actually in these parts, when an older white self-professed progressive chair of a progressive Democratic club walked up to me, wagging her finger in my face, saying, "You and your kind need to get out of here. You have no business running for this."
And she's
Who
a
do you
Democrat.
think you are?
That's my point, Kimberly.
Yeah.
That's why you get it.
Well, that's and we know you have that battle.
Yeah.
And, that battle is, it's been fought by so many people, when you go back to the Medgravers, you go back to, even John F. K., or you go back to all these different people, Martin Luther King, you go back to that. So you have a responsibility, not only to what we need to do at the Democratic Party, but to us as a community. So with this battle, how do you fight this battle every day?
I get up, put on my Wonder Woman bracelets,
Yes.
say my prayers, put on my charm bracelets, and usually it's after I drop the kid off at school, and get to kicking ass. No need to take names.
Yeah.
But I mean, to your point, this is for me my calling and my purpose in this time, in this space. And I go back to my, and I was actually asked about this earlier today. I started the day in Sacramento.
Wait, you went Sacramento to Orange County to here?
Sacramento to Orange County, and then over to here.
Freaking yes, honey.
Somebody needs
She's
a
a
nap.
woman on a mission.
Exactly.
She's a woman on a
I'm
mission.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You deserve a glass of wine before you. Yes. Okay.
Red Bull.
Real.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
Espresso.
Yeah.
But I was asked about our tagline from 2 years ago, which was "Unbought, Unbossed." And "Unbought, Unbossed" was the campaign slogan that Shirley Chisholm used when she ran for president in 1972.
Right.
Shirley Chisholm, of course, being the first Black woman to ever serve in Congress out of New York. She actually was the first woman to seek the Democratic Party's nomination for president in 1972. So unbought, unbossed was her campaign slogan. We adopted that because in many ways, Shirley Chisholm to me was one of the foremothers of what is modern day progressivism today. She was someone who dedicated her entire life to fighting for the poor, for women, for children, for the homeless, for the voiceless, and did it so magnificently and brilliantly back in the 60s and 70s. And so I first found out about her in third grade when I had to do a book report. And when I discovered Shirley Chisholm, I think that's where I caught the bug and where I said, I want to be her when I grow up. And so I think about Shirley Chisholm. I think about Fannie Lou Hamer. I think about Rosa Parks. I think about Sojourner Truth.
Yes.
And we think about these women who came before us, whose shoulders we stand on.
That's right.
Then it really gives you a good perspective
Yeah.
Yes,
in
it
terms
does.
of the battles we're dealing with today, which are nothing in
Yes.
Right.
comparison.
Comparison
to
to that.
Say that,
what
Kimberly.
we
I
have here.
agree.
Absolutely. And it's very important to honor those whose shoulder we stood on, to never forget, walking around entitled, all races, all cultures that are benefiting from those women. You know what I'm saying? And you have to, it's one of the things that I share with the students is to be mindful of that culture that fought for you so that you would even feel like you would even want to come to America. So it's a celebration for us all. Wow.
I have a little question about the process, just to go back just a tidbit.
Okay.
So, in order to be elected, these super delegates that are in turn voting for you.
So there are 3,600 delegates to the party that will be voting, yes, for chair.
So, people such as our listeners, how is it that they can get involved? What's the
Yes.
the step of getting
Or how can we support her?
knowledgeable? How can we support? How can we really, make sure that we're all empowering ourselves?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
the question. So the election for chair will take place at the next state party convention, which will be held May 31st through June 2nd in San Francisco. The election itself will be held on Saturday, June 1st. The delegation is made up of three parts, if you will. The delegates are broken out into three buckets. The first bucket is called, the acronym is ADEM, ADEM. It stands for Assembly District Delegate, basically.
Okay.
So in the state of California, there are 80 assembly districts. Each assembly district has 14 delegates, 7 men and 7 women elected to it. So that's the first bucket. And this 3,600 is roughly broken up a third, a third, and a third. So a third of that is the ADEMs.
Yes.
Okay.
The second bucket is DSCC, which basically stands for Central Committee. So in the state of California, there are 58 counties. We're in LA. LA is a county as well, LA County. I'm up in the Bay Area in Richmond. That's in Contra Costa County. There are 58 counties in California. Each county has a certain number of delegates elected to it based on the number of registered Democrats in that particular county. So that number will fluctuate, but it's roughly another third.
And the ratio is there a ratio to that? The Democrats, the delegates to the Democrat people
It is.
what's the ratio? Do you know?
So it depends, but it's roughly, again, out of the 3,600, it's roughly a third that's in that
just
particular,
Okay.
based on the number of registered Democrats in that particular county. And then the third bucket is what we call PLEOs. PLEO stands for Party Leaders and Elected Officials. So everyone from our governor, Gavin Newsom, all the way down through our constitutional officers, our lieutenant governor, our secretary of state, our controller, our treasurer, all of those, our entire congressional delegation, our entire legislature, state assembly members, state senators, and party electeds are all delegates themselves. What makes them different is that the first two buckets, the ADEMs and the Central Committee delegates, they each have 1 vote. The elected officials have anywhere between 5 and 36 votes of people who they can appoint to those positions. And they can actually direct those people and how they must vote, regardless
Ooh.
of how they want to vote.
Ooh, call on me.
And
Whoa.
so
5 to 36
in
people
turn,
each.
it varies. So between altogether between 6 and 36 people. So if I were, for example, the leader of the assembly, because I'm the leader of the assembly, I myself, as an elected, am a delegate. I get 5 appointed delegates because I'm an elected in that area. And because I'm the leader of my house, I get an additional 30 delegates. So I get to appoint whoever I want in these positions. And I can say, I know, Marquita, you want to vote for Kimberly. You're not allowed to. You must vote for this person over here.
I could not
And it is
stay in
a
that
public
office.
vote. So
I
there's a
would
lot
fight
of
and change
pressure
that.
in order to actually do that. So that is the breakdown of this delegation. So not many ways in which the Democratic Party is not very democratic.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But so how folks can help
Yeah.
is we can identify what districts they live in,
Okay.
to give them a list of their elected officials who they can contact
Yeah.
and call, reach out to, visit their district offices, talk to them on social media to let them know, first and foremost, they know about this election.
Yes.
Because so much of this is because it's been such an inside baseball kind of thing that most people don't know about. So letting them know they know about it, they're paying attention, they know how important it is, they're supporting Kimberly Ellis, and they're calling on them to do so as well.
Wow. Kimberly, how do you stay so smooth? Like, you're so smooth with this. You carry such a weight, such an authority, such knowledge, such confidence, but you're so smooth. Whereas someone like me, like if I was like, hey, Kimberly, I'm feeling this vibe, like I need to work with you, let me know what I need to do or whatever. Like, I would be that one that'll be like, I need to go to the places where it's just like, let's fight justice. It's all right. Like, I would be that one that you could just be like real chill, like Barack Obama, like real chill. And I would be that one that you'll be like, Marquita, sick of. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, let's hit this, let's spill this on the media and let people know that these people in these positions are forced to vote a certain way. Let's see what we can do to change that law. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a law, though.
Not
It's
law,
an unspoken kind of thing. Isn't it?
Is it an unspoken thing,
What
or
is it?
like is it like written into like stone type thing, or it can be intimidating?
Well, so it is, the Democratic Party is a private organization, membership only. In other words, they can do whatever they want to do.
Gotcha.
Good.
Yeah,
Hey, politics.
they make the rules.
Yeah, that is good
You
question.
made a
to make
statement
sure we got the
earlier.
right answer.
Right.
My question is, if for a person such as myself who prefers to be considered independent because I voted either way,
Yeah.
but I'm more aligned with Democratic values, does it benefit myself or the party to actually designate myself as a Democrat?
Good question, Christine.
As someone who intends to be the next chair of the California Democratic Party,
Shall be.
For the purpose.
I'm going to tell you what I would tell my 19-year-old daughter, who still has not registered with one party or another, and that is, don't give away your loyalty for free. Make them work for it. Make them earn it. This party should earn your loyalty, your vote.
No, that's a powerful statement. That's a very powerful
People
statement.
of color,
Yeah.
women of color, Black people,
I'm gonna need
Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
They vote for Democrats 95% of the time. Backbone of this party. We have given our trust, our support, our loyalty to this party for decades. And in return, we have gotten very little for that,
That's all I'm saying.
especially with respect to investing in
Right.
Black people and Black women's leadership. And so I would say, don't give it up for free. Make them earn it.
I agree, Christine. Do
Wow.
you? Like,
No,
wholeheartedly.
absolutely. That's prolific.
it. That's
Absolutely.
prolific.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's where I'm at. That's why I was saying at the beginning.
And that's
Like,
a
give me
beautiful
that-
statement. Let me just say, for everybody who
Yes.
votes per party line and who is not necessarily aligned to or aware of or informed
Absolutely.
about how that party is serving them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's profound.
When I give, like, it's amazing, like working with, I'm on that level with the students that are transitioning to 18 and 19 that we can get to vote and to go out and vote for these things. And that's one of the things that I always do when they're putting out the newspaper for the high schools or for like community college and stuff like that. Let's deal with facts because it's real cute to walk around and make fun of Trump. It's real cute to say all this, but do you know these facts about what facts do you know about Hillary Clinton that were supportive of the people that are trying to make sure, like he said, earn their trust, whether you're Black, whether you're Latino, whether you're gay, LGBT, whatever the case may be, whether you're poor, whatever it is, you need to look at the facts. What things in her life as it relates to her character, what she's standing for, what she's done can really support and make the difference that we have not seen much of. You know what I'm saying? So here you're sitting with us and you're giving us facts. You have educated so many people across the United States and beyond. I mean, people in Australia are going to hear this. They're not even in America yet. So in case they decide to come over and they ever get an opportunity to vote, we're going to need for you to listen to this. Okay? You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, before, let me just jump in really quickly because you keep talking about young people, who I believe are not the future; they are the present.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that I believe is that this party, I said it before, I'll say it again, can and should be more. I believe that this party should be in the business of service.
Can and should be more.
Be more and do more.
Oh, okay.
More with a capital M.
Yeah.
Exactly, Miss Elise. Now I will say Miss Elise now because you've come with too much power.
So one of the things that we talk a lot about is the need to invest in young people. And I was just talking to a young woman in Orange County before I got here, and she worked for someone in Congress, and she's working for one of the Democratic Party Central Committees right now.
Yes.
Both of those job stints, unpaid internships. And so I shared with her, again, my belief that this party should be paying young people for their time and their talent. Our campaign just last week announced a paid fellowship, an internship for Gen Z and millennials. So young folks between the ages of 16 and 35 will be paid a $1,000 stipend to come and work on our campaign, to learn about the party, to learn about organizing, to learn about our values. And it will culminate at the state party convention. So for folks who have never had the opportunity to experience a convention before, they will be able to do that. That is on our website at voteforkimberly.org. It's also on the Facebook page. The application for folks to apply, I would encourage you to share that with folks. This is a pilot program for a permanent summer paid fellowship that I intend to bring to the party because it is past time for this party to start putting its money where its mouth is with respect to investing in young people. And oftentimes, the only young folks who can intern for free during the summertime or any other time are well-to-do white kids. And so there is an opportunity gap for our young kids of color, kids who come from low socioeconomic backgrounds to actually be able to gain the experience that they will need to go into various careers. So we will be paying them. It is, again, a pilot for what will be a permanent summer paid fellowship for young people to come and work for the party here in California.
That's beautiful.
Redefine what it means to be a Democrat.
Wow.
I'm not mad at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was 2 years ago.
I know it was, but it still fit with what you were just saying.
This time it is substance, style, and solidarity.
Because
Why?
it's been redefined, and I'm going to make it. You're making it clear.
No, what she just said is redefining. I mean, that's completely redefining what's going on because that's never been done. And when it succeeds, it will create not only a different vision, but a different opportunity for those of color and beyond to get educated and get involved. So
exactly,
that is the revision of it. I like that.
I have to be honest. I feel so much hope from hearing you here and
Me
seeing
too.
you, because when I look into our political landscape, I don't relate.
Yeah.
And
That's real talk.
yeah,
I'm just saying. It's
How you
just
say it, Journey?
truth.
Facts.
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 Exactly. That's what I deal with. Facts in
That's
journaling. You have given us, you've laid out facts. You've laid out a clear outline of what you guys plan to do, but also things that you guys plan to do that have already been implemented. Okay. Such as the paid internship opportunities. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like,
That's
I'm
powerful.
loving this.
That's powerful.
I don't even know how you gonna bring this home, Tiz. Like,
It's
I
right
have
here,
to
man.
access it
It's
all.
right here. Well,
Yeah.
you know, this I was just going over this unbought, unbossed from back in the day. And it's one of those things that you're fitting right in with all the women that you named.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting a mark, you're creating a lane, you're setting an expectation, and you're meeting it.
Yeah.
And very excited to see what this year brings and what changes you will make with this party as we move forward. I'm blessed to be able to know you and be able to see what's going on in everybody here, and those who you're touching. It's gonna be, y'all better pay attention. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's gonna be a dope ride.
Yeah. Stay woke.
It's gonna be a
Hashtag
dope
stay woke.
ride, man.
Hashtag conscious.
So with that,
Hashtag
man,
relevant.
we got to find out where everybody can follow you, where they can get involved, and start their own journey to understanding who you are, what you're about, and what this chair position is going to do for them, and how they can get involved, as Christine was saying. Where can they find you?
Yeah.
Social media.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Handle is at Real Kimberly E, RealKimberlye as in Ellis, at Real Kimberly E. And online on our website at www.voteforkimberly. That's FOR Kimberly.org. Voteforkimberly.org. Pretty much everything is laid out on all those platforms.
And there's a where people can come out to see you. If you're wherever you're going next. Where are you in?
Everything. Yeah. Where am I going next? Where am I? What day is it? Tomorrow I will be in Ventura County.
Okay.
Wednesday, Santa Monica. Thursday, Santa Cruz. Friday up in Butte County, which is, if you remember where the fires happen in Paradise, that's where Butte County is, up north.
Who is your travel agent? They got you.
Saturday, I'll start in Sacramento, go down to LA, come back up to Tracy, which is in the Dublin, Pleasanton, Hayward, bottom of Oakland kind of area. And then I think I might, no, I don't have Sunday off. Sunday, I think it starts a whole nother sort of tour. I'll end up in DC mid next week. And then back around for the last couple weeks of travel. So we're in the last 7 weeks before the election. So I'm pretty much on the road all day, every day, talking to delegates. But everything, pretty much every stop is on the website, on the Facebook page.
It's on the Facebook.
It's on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot of blessings there, man. My head is still. I got notes over here. I'm just writing stuff down.
Me too. And I just remembered that it's live streaming. Like, I can go back and watch it.
Yes,
I guess I'm just like in college mode. I'm in law school, and Kimberly is my professor.
Telling you. I mean, I wish we could keep going and just because there's just so much with what you do that creates so much interest, and I'm interested in it. You know, I never was involved in politics. I was like, ugh, I don't want to deal with it, but to see what we can do, what we are going to do, and know where we've came from is, you know, when you put all that together and we see somebody like you who gives us hope, that's the blessing.
Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
thank you.
Let me just end by saying this, just to what you said, as someone who was never interested in politics. And for folks out there who are listening who have thought they were never or will never be interested in politics, politics touches every single aspect of our lives, whether we realize it or not. from whether or not your neighborhood has a grocery store that offers fresh fruits and vegetables,
Mhm.
to how much you pay at the gas pump, to whether or not you have garbage pickup on time, potholes on your street. Every single aspect of life is political. There are people at every single level making decisions about your life and your livelihood. And so we should remember that even if we're not voting, someone is getting elected and is seated at those tables
Whoa,
and representing
speak on
and
that,
making
Kim.
decisions for you. And
Whoa.
so I would encourage all of us to embrace politics, to understand what it's really about. It is about money and the distribution of resources. And we all need to understand that. And it impacts and affects all of us. And so I would encourage everyone to get engaged. If you don't know who your mayor is, who your city council, who your DA or sheriff is, who oftentimes determine whether or not the cops who shoot the Black people in their backs get off or not, right? Need to understand who these people are who are in these positions, who are making decisions that impact every single aspect of our lives. We cannot afford to not be political. in this day and age.
So you can have somebody that is in an elected office or position that has no idea about a culture of people that they are making the decisions for in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
The majority of people, the majority of folks in elected office in this country are white men.
Yeah. So like, just say for instance, like, like I'm from H-Town, Houston or something like that, or even New Orleans. So you like, if you're in the 9th ward, you know what's going to be there in the 9th ward. So if these people don't get out and vote, then the people that are making decisions for them are not going to make sure that the levee is straight. Thus the dam breaks with Hurricane Katrina type thing.
Decisions are made by the people who show up.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a big statement.
And so the people didn't show up. Right.
But that's it. That's it right there.
That's our point, because they weren't interested in politics, because they didn't teach us like you're doing with us, right now, the importance and the relevance. And like you said, they don't want us to know the people that are like 100 years old in office with their old way of thinking.
Exactly.
So I was in Iraq during elections 2003. I've been to many third world countries.
Yes.
And I tell every time I've worked grassroots voter registration, people die in other countries to have the rights that we do.
People died in this country for us to have the rights to vote.
Yeah. In present day, there's so much we're blessed with in this gorgeous country, and to be able to have
the opportunity to even vote.
And more so people such as yourself who are carrying the banner.
Yeah.
And with that, we got to say thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you so much for
Kimberly.
that.
Thank you for choosing to stay on it.
And before you go, since you just dropped so many nuggets on us, I guess you need to drop one more and let us know what your superpower is.
Superpower?
Yes. What is your superpower?
Wonder Woman.
Did you see her note?
Girl power. That's a good question. I think honestly, it is the ability to bring people together. People who oftentimes come from disparate or different backgrounds, perspectives, bringing people together around a common cause or issue and finding commonality.
Awesome. Connector. I know another person like that. Journeyman, this has been a blessing, bro. Thank you.
It has. And I've been in awe over here. I can do nothing but listen, but we follow.
Yeah.
And Marquita's down for you.
Yes, I am. You too, Jenny.
She hasn't stopped.
I can't, you don't even know, I'm so going to stop you. I am going to be like, oh my God, that's my professor. And I got you, because I feel this.
That's awesome.
So there you have it. Let's give it up for Kimberly Ellis once again.
There we go, man.
Trip Digital Radio presents LA Style Magazine. We will be back.
Get involved, people. Get involved.
Okay, we got it.